Okay, so you're working from home and you're wondering what you can do to modify your workspace so you can try to avoid strain and injury over time. A dining room table is a common place people work from when they're working from home. So I will use this setup to demonstrate what you can do to improve the ergonomics of your at-home workstation. First of all, please do not forget what was discussed in the previous video. Any posture can be straining if you stay in it for a long enough period of time. While there is no such thing as a perfect posture, there are postures that are relatively less straining than others, meaning you can stay in them for a longer period of time before you start feeling the strain and discomfort over time. Sitting up nice and tall with minimal effort from the muscles around your torso, your neck, your shoulders, and your forearms is the key to the ideal posture that will allow most people to sit and work for a longer period of time before they start feeling the strain of their work. What you need to do is modify your workstation so that you can sit support in this position with very little effort to maintain it. So let's go over some at-home strategies you can use to modify your workstation. A good place to start is by aligning your body to the height of the desk. And since in this case, my desk is actually my dining room table and will not likely be modifiable height-wise, I will need to align my body to the height of the table itself. So with your arms resting on the sides of your torso and your hands on the keyboard, you should have about a 90 to 100 degree bend at your elbows. More often than not, what we see is that there's too much bend at the elbows, just like in mine right here. This is because the height of my chair is not appropriate for the height of the desk that I'm working on. To modify this, you can simply place an ordinary pillow underneath the bottom to give you a little bit more height, lifting your torso and decreasing the amount of bend at the elbow. And this looks about right for my body. Once you have the height of the chair set, have a look at your hips and your legs. There should be about a 90 degree bend at your knees, 90 degree bend at your hips, and your feet should be flat on the floor resting. Since we raised the seat height, some may find that their feet are no longer resting on the floor. In that case, using a textbook or a small box will help fix the problem rather quickly. You can just put that right underneath your feet for added support. In my case, this is actually a pretty good setup. Now that our lower body is set up, let's move back up to the torso. Now, the torso alignment should be supported by the chair itself to decrease the amount of work your muscles have to do in order to keep you up sitting straight. This means when you are perching on the edge of your chair and your back is not in contact with the backrest, your postural muscles actually have to work harder in order to keep you up sitting straight. Therefore, I highly recommend you actually use the backrest in order to relieve the postural muscles from all the work that they have to do in order to keep you upright. Now, of course, this being a dining room chair and not an office chair, the backrest is less than ideal. There's absolutely no support there. However, you can create your own support by simply just adding a pillow at the base of your back, just like this. Now, this keeps your low back in a much more neutral position. You want your pelvis to be neutral. You don't want it to be rounded back, and you certainly don't want it to be over tilted forward. However, if simple pillow does not work, you can add a little bit of support by rolling up a towel and putting it right under the curve of your back. Now that we have your lower body and your torso set up ergonomically, let's talk about the upper body. Now, the idea here is to promote a nice tall posture. So you don't want to set up your workstation in a way that will promote rounding of your neck, shoulders, and upper back like this. Therefore, you want to think about how your computer is actually positioned in front of you. Now, ideally, the screen would be set up at about an arm length away to minimize the strain on your eyes, directly right in front of you, with the top of the screen being at about eye level. This is simply done to minimize the temptation of you looking down at your screen, which will force you to kind of slouch over time. But since most of us are working on laptops with the keyboards directly built into them, this is obviously not possible. I therefore highly recommend purchasing a separate keyboard and mouse so that you can easily use textbooks to set up the laptop, bring the screen to the right height, while maintaining your keyboard at the right height as well. And I'm good to go. So there you have it. Simple, inexpensive, and ergonomically friendly at-home workstation setup that will certainly spare your body over time. Now tune into the next video where I'll show you how to set up your at-home standing workstation.